A very good afternoon to you and welcome to CoreTV News and this hour. I am Nena Nyama. Senate President Olubukola Saraki has pleaded not guilty to the 13-count charge filed against him. The number 3 man in Nigeria who appeared before the Code of Conduct Tribunal today after a bit of brickbats between him and the court says his decision to appear before the court was born out of respect for the rule of law. Having responded not guilty to the charges against him, Senator Saraki was flanked by his supporters in cheers out of the court to return for further proceedings, following the adjournment of the case to October 21, 2015. Meanwhile, a federal high court sitting in Abuja set a September 30 date for hearing in the substantive suit brought before it by the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, challenging the competency of the Code of Conduct Tribunal to try him for alleged false declaration of assets. Saraki, in an expert motion, wants the court to stop the Federal Ministry of Justice, Code of Conduct Bureau and Code of Conduct Tribunal from arraigning or prefer any charges against him pending the determination of the substantive suit. In a ruling, Justice Ahmed Abubakar averred that with the submission from both counsels, the court is now set to begin proper hearing on the substantive
The court has just delivered its
Addressing
ruling,
newsmen shortly after the adjournment,
the court have ruled that it's going to take the substantive suit to get out all applications. So in that circumstances, we are going to study the ruling. I will know the next step to take in the matter. However, we still have another matter before the Court of Appeal, still in the respect of this same thing, this same matter. So we are going to the office and we'll study it and we'll know the appropriate step to take immediately, without waste of time.
And now to security, the Army authorities have approved the promotion of 5,000 soldiers currently in the theater of war in the northeast. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai disclosed this at a conference in Abuja. He maintained that the gesture is meant to boost the morale of troops and to ensure the realization of the presidential directive on ending the Boko Haram insurgency before the end of the year. The Army Chief also approved 321 million naira in scholarship for children of soldiers who lost their lives in the course of the war.
In the area of administration, quite a lot has also been done to improve the general well-being and boost morale of troops. In this vein, you will recall that my predecessor promised the troops in the erstwhile Operation Zaman Lafia accelerated promotion to the next higher ranks, but could not be implemented before I took over. I have since approved special promotion for 5,000 gallant soldiers in the Northeast, now Operation Lafia Dole. This is to boost the morale of the fighting troops. Approval has also been given for funds to the tune of 321 million naira for the payment of Nigerian Army sponsorship of disease personnel children for the 2014-2015 academic year.
Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Olu Falaye, has been kidnapped by gunmen on Monday in his farm at Ilado village in Akure North local government area of Ondo State. The incident occurred on the day the former presidential candidate of the All People's Party clocked 77. It was gathered that the gunmen, numbering 20, invaded the farm at about 12:30 p.m., beat up the former Minister for Finance and his workers before whisking him away in their vehicle and headed towards the forest reserve. All efforts to meet Chief Falaye's wife, Rachel, or any member of his family was unsuccessful at the time of filing this report, but the spokesman for the State Social Democratic Party, Mr. Remi Olayiwola, said the abductors had contacted Mrs. Falaye and had demanded the sum of 100 million naira ransom. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has presented a list of would-be cabinet members to the House of Assembly for screening. The clerk of the House, Mr. Ganiu Abiru, read the names on the floor to the members. The governor is requesting for the screening and approval of 36 persons, with 23 as commissioners and 13 as special advisors. Amongst the names are 6 former cabinet members from the Babatunde Raji Fashola's administration, including former Commissioner for Agriculture, Gbolahan Lawal, former Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, former Special Advisor, Central Business District, Folari Koka, former Special Advisor at Commerce and Industry, Sheyel Ladejo, former Special Advisor, Works and Infrastructure, Ganiyu Johnson, and former Special Advisor on Rural Development, Babatunde Hump. Governor Mbade had made good his promise at the inaugural address to inject new blood on merit and professionalism as the new list depicts. It is made up of top technocrats, politicians and strategists. The governor named a relatively young cabinet with the likes of Mrs. Yetunde Nabolu, Fela Bankolemole, Akinyemi Ashade, a partner in KPMG, former Managing Director, National Mirror, Steve Ayorinde, Alaja Uzemat, Akimbile Yusuf, a pharmacist, Kende Joseph, and Professor Ademola Abbas, a professor of law whose ages range between 39 and 47 years. Meanwhile, the Cross River State government says nominees for appointment as commissioners in the state will be subjected to intense scrutiny. In a statement, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Media, Christian Ita, said that nominees will undergo a mandatory aptitude test before confirmation is granted. The statement also disclosed that the test will also be taken by chairmen, members of boards, agencies and parastatals, and special advisors. Governor Ben Ayade disclosed that this initiative is to ascertain if they can function in the new order, where transparency and accountability are the watchwords. All Progressive Congress APC has accused People's Democratic Party PDP, led by its acting chairman Uche Secondus, of attempting to distort the real situation of proceedings at the Akwa Ibom State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, holding in Abuja. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Lai Mohammed, while addressing journalists in Lagos on Monday, said the PDP embarked on an orchestrated misinformation of Nigerians about the purported collusion of the APC with the Directorate of Secretary Service, DSS, to obtain the Akwa Ibom governorship election.
An orchestrated campaign of misinformation on the proceedings at the Akwa Ibom governorship election petition. The acting national chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, has led a cacophony of other PDP voices that have been shouting themselves hoarse in what amounts to turning the truth on its head and crying wolf where there is none. The PDP has pointedly accused my party, the APC, of working in cahoots with the DSS to overturn the Akwa Ibom governorship election, purportedly won by the PDP. That is the summary of all their mindless and meaningless accusations. The DSS recently invited the resident electoral commissioner, REC for Akwa Ibom, Mr. Austin Okoje, and some other officials working under him to help in their investigation into the discovery that the commission had destroyed and attempted to destroy evidence in election petitions before the state election petition tribunals by shredding ballot papers, immersing them in water, mixing them all up, and stuffing them in jute bags, which are then left out in the open at the mercy of the elements. Contrary to the clear instruction of INEC manual for election officers 2015, section 2.85, which requires that after elections, the ballot papers should be preserved unit by unit in sealed envelopes. The state of electoral materials discovered in the course of the forensic examination ordered by the tribunal was so bad that we now know why INEC, in concert with the PDP, did everything to stop the forensic examination of ballot papers. Those responsible for these criminal acts. INEC officials who have been the masterminds of the criminal sabotage and disobedience of the valid orders of the tribunal, and were asked to account for what happened to the ballot papers, include Emmanuel Agu, electoral officer in charge of SCM Idim, Obina, EO in charge of Uyo, Uche Okori, head of legal Uyo, and the overall boss, Austin Okoji, the Akwa Ibom State Rec. The PDP's noise is to divert attention from its collusion with compromised officers in INEC to institutionalize criminal impunity in the electoral process.
In another development, the All Progressive Congress APC has cleared the air about its alleged involvement in a recent raid of the Akwa Ibom State Government House by officials of the Department of State Service. Speaking with journalists in Lagos on Monday, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Lai Mohammed, said the party is not privy to the invasion of the government house, contrary to what has been peddled by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as a move by the ruling party to influence the tribunal.
Has been the role of the security agencies, including the military and the DSS. We want to state clearly that the military and other security agencies were deployed to the states in Niger Delta to secure the last general elections and ensure the safety of the voters because of the threats posed by violence before, during, and after the polls. That deployment was beyond the APC. But because of the role of the security agencies, the APC can, and indeed has subpoenaed them when necessary to tell the tribunals what they saw. Any of the parties so interested can also do the same. To now extrapolate from this that the APC is using the security agencies to harass and intimidate the tribunals is simply a lie and absolutely irresponsible. DSS invasion of Akwa Ibom Government House. We in the APC are not privy to the reasons for the DSS search of the Akwa Ibom Government House. However, we have no doubt that the security agency acted within its area of competence and authority. We do not see any connection between the search by the DSS and our candidate's petition before the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. We therefore reject any attempt by a desperate and paranoid PDP to cite DSS action as another instance of the APC-led federal government's supposed plan to influence the work of the tribunal.
We'll take a break now, return with more stories. Just stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
You're still watching CoreTV News and this hour. For more than news stories, join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News and on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. On our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space news. The Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission has fixed December 19 for local government elections. This is coming as the chairman of the commission is being accused of being a member of the People's Democratic Party, while some parties also kick against the guidelines of the electoral process, accusing the commission of high-handedness. Rashid has more in this report.
After the inauguration of the Ekiti State Independent Electoral Commission, doubt has been cast on the workforce of the commission. But the Justice Kayode Bamishile-led commission has come out with a date for local government elections in Ekiti State alongside electoral guidelines.
We have decided that local government election in Ekiti State has been fixed to come up on 19th December 2015.
While this is on, the chairman Kayode Bamishile has been accused of partisanship and alleged to be a card-carrying member of the People's Democratic Party.
Evidence in circulation in public domain about the chairman's association with a particular political party. Even the number of his person on the political register.
Anybody who named me as a card carrier of any police, let him just produce the card number and the evidence to that effect.
The local government election process has been described as serving the interest of the PDP-led government, while a third party kicks against the stand of XEC.
In all the 16 local governments in Ekiti State now, you can see posters for just one political party, and that political party is just the PDP. So, I mean, based on that again, I don't think it would be an election as we know elections to be.
For them to have gone on here to give announcement of date without giving us consultation, having passed the information to us after going on here, I think is unheard of and is quite unpalatable to us. Well, I want to give my word that we are going back to our table to have a meeting on our table. Then after, we will pass our resolution to the SEC body.
As the electoral body goes on with the election plans, the independence of the commission will surely be put to test as events unfold in days to come. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The office of the Lagos Inland Revenue Service on the third floor of Good Shepherd Building, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, has been gutted by fire. The incident, which occurred on Monday, came 2 days after another fire consumed 4 offices in the state's Ministry of Commerce and Industry building. The LIRS fire was said to have started around 8:45 a.m. and reached a room in the office. The General Manager, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Michael Akindele, said the fire service officials got there 3 minutes after they got the distress call and were able to curtail the fire to only one office. Meanwhile, Lagos State government has clarified reports surrounding the fire incident, saying that no life or property was lost before the fire was contained. The Kaduna State Emergency Agency has confirmed the death of at least 1 person in a flooding incident that trapped several others. This followed heavy rainfall in several communities in 2 major council areas. The mostly affected places include Kabala Costain, Uwang Rimi Road, and other communities along the river bank. Residents of the hardest hit communities have also been speaking on the impact of the flood.
Let the government should repair the road. They should come and repair it. It's not good. Some people don't have money to park away from that place. Because before you park away, you have to look for money. So no money. And that's why many people are still there. I left that place since yesterday. I didn't go there. I can't tell you what I don't know.
I feel totally disorganized now. Because we didn't even know the water this year is different from the way it used to come. So we didn't know it was going to get to that level. So we were just busy raising our stuffs up, only for us to find out that the water is inside the house. My shop is so covered now. I don't even know whether to cry or what.
Meanwhile, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has visited some of the communities that were submerged by a heavy flood to assess the level of devastation. The governor was accompanied by his deputy, Bala Bantex, and other top government functionaries, visited some parts of Chudunwada, Goningora, Romi, Sabon Tasha, Kabala West, among others. He assured victims of the flood that the government will provide temporary shelter for those displaced from their homes. Governor El-Rufai also advocated the need to stop the building of houses along river banks and flood-prone areas so as to avoid future occurrences. There's an abysmal low turnout of student resumption to school in Plateau State, a situation that is not unconnected to the crisis that has defied several solutions in the state. Our Plateau State correspondent has details of this story.
This year's school resumption in Plateau State after the long vacation is rather on a sad note, as over 20 people lost their lives with over 150 houses set ablaze in parts of the state in the weekend preceding resumption date. Some of the primary and secondary schools visited revealed a low turnout of pupils. The teachers who are eager to keep their means of livelihood called on parents and the students to resume.
Resumption is okay, I can say, but only to a few number of students who turned out. Normally in a secondary school like this is what we expect, but I'm optimistic that within the week the population of the students is going to be more than what I've seen today.
Since we have resumed, I'm encouraging and calling all parents that still have their wards at home to send back their kids because the teachers are ready to work.
Excited being in school now, so a good number of them are in school.
Well, for the teachers, I can say we have 100% turnouts. Everybody resume back to school.
It's often said that when you train a child, when you give a child education, you have actually trained a nation. So it's important people are being sensitized about this. It's important the awareness is created that the essence of having education is to make the child a better person in the nearest future.
As the saying goes, the education is the best legacy parents can leave for his children. The communal crisis in Plateau State is now preventing pupils from going to school, as some of them rendered orphans, some in internally displaced persons camp, while others are under the grip of fear. It is still pressed on the authorities that the citizenry have entrusted on the mantle of leadership upon to rise to the occasion in preserving the sanctity of lives and harmonious coexistence in Plateau State.
Away from our local stories and now to the foreign scene, Burkina Faso's army has issued an ultimatum to coup leaders to lay down their weapons or face attack. This ultimatum comes as after the elite presidential guard released the country's Prime Minister Yakubu Isaac Zida. The release of Prime Minister Isaac Zida, who was detained alongside the country's president and a known number of cabinet ministers last Wednesday by Presidential Guard soldiers, occurred after army soldiers entered Ouagadougou without resistance. Diende on Monday apologized to the nation and said he would hand over control to a civilian transitional government. At least 10 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in protests sparked by the coup, which came just weeks before what could have been the first election since Blaise Compaoré was ousted in a popular revolt last October. The European Union Interior Ministers are set to hold an emergency meeting today, aiming to bridge a deep rift over Europe's worst refugee crisis since World War II. During the meeting, the ministers will discuss controversial binding quotas to relocate 120,000 refugees around the EU bloc from frontline states after they failed to reach a deal last week. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has pledged to do everything to resolve the redistribution of refugees by consensus rather than simply outvoting European Union partners. Merkel pointed out that there cannot be a solution overnight to the crisis, adding that more meetings will be needed. And that's it on CoreTV News on this hour. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nena Nyama. Good afternoon.